Hi, my name is Salim from the Math Resource Center at HEC in the Del Mary campus. In this video, we will go over Question 1, Parts A and B in the Solving Linear Systems Using Matrices worksheet. The question reads, solve the following systems of equations using matrices. Let's begin with Part A. First, we are going to create our matrix. To the right side, we will have the solutions of the system. Since we have three variables, we will have three columns. The first column will be for the x values, second column will be for y values, and the third column will be for z values. So in the first column, we will have the coefficients of x. In the second column, we will have the coefficients of y. And in the third column, we will have the coefficients of z. We are going to name this row 1, row 2, and row 3. Our goal is to make these values 0, so we can solve for x, y, and z. So we are going to start transforming our rows. We are going to add row 2 plus row 3, and this will give us a new row 3. Row 1 will stay the same. Row 2 will stay the same as well. Now to find row 3, we are going to add up both rows, 2 and 3. So we say 2 plus negative 2 is 0. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. And negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Negative 6 and negative 1 is negative 7. And with this, we have created our first 0. Now we are going to multiply row 1 times negative 2 and add it to row 2 to create a new row 2. Row 1 and row 3 will stay the same. And now we are going to say negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And negative 6 plus negative 6 is negative 12. Negative 2 times negative 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. And negative 2 times negative 4 is 8. Plus negative 6 is 2. Now we are going to make this value 0. In order to do so, we are going to multiply row 3 times negative 4 and add it to row 2. And that would give us a new row 3. Rows 1 and 2 will stay the same. Now we'll say negative 4 times 0 is 0. Plus 0, we get 0. And that goes in row 3. Negative 4 times negative 3 is 12. And 12 plus negative 12 is 0. Negative 4 times negative 3 is 12, and 12 plus 3 is 15. And finally, negative 4 times negative 7 is 28, and 28 plus 2 is 30. Now we are going to simplify row 3 by dividing it by 15. Now we are going to perform multiple steps. We are going to add row 1 and row 3, and we will get row 1. And then we are going to multiply row 3 by negative 3 and add it to row 2 to get a new row 2. Let's begin by adding row 1 and row 3. 1 plus 0 is 1. 3 plus 0 is 3. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. And negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Now we are going to multiply row 3 times negative 3 and add it to row 2 to find our new row 2. Row 3 will stay the same. So negative 3 times 0 is 0, plus 0 is also 0. Negative 3 times 0 is 0, plus negative 12 is negative 12. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, plus 3 is 0. And negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, plus 2 is negative 4. Finally, we just need to make this value 0. To do so, we are going to multiply row 1 times 4 and add it to row 2, and that will give us our new row 1. Rows 2 and 3 remain unchanged. We are going to multiply 4 times 1, which is 4, and add it to 0, and we get 4. 4 times 3 is 12, plus negative 12 is 0. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 0 is 0. And 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, plus negative 4 is negative 12. Now we are going to simplify row 1 and row 2 by dividing them by 4. Now that we have zeros in the corners, we can find the values of x, y, and z. According to the first row, the x coefficient is 1, so we can say that x equals negative 3. The y coefficient is negative 3, so we say that negative 3y equals negative 1. And according to the third row, 1 is a coefficient of z, so we can say that z equals 2. So the solution to this system is x equals negative 3, y equals 1 over 3, and z equals 2. Now let's move on to part B. As we did before, we are going to create our matrix. First, we are going to multiply row 3 times negative 1 and add it to row 1, and that will give us our new row 3. Rows 1 and 2 will stay the same. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, plus 1 is 0. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3, plus 1 is negative 2. Negative 1 times negative 4 is 4, plus negative 1 is 3. Negative 1 times 13 is negative 13, plus 6 is negative 7. Now we are going to multiply row 1 times negative 3 and add it to row 2, and that will give us row 2. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, plus 3 is 0. Now negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, plus negative 2 is negative 5. Negative 3 times negative 1 is 3, plus 7 is 10. And negative 3 times 6 is negative 18, plus negative 2 is negative 20. Now we're going to multiply row 2 times negative 2 and row 3 times 5, and that will give us row 3. Once we do that, we get 0, 0, negative 5, and 5. Now we're going to multiply row 1 times 5 and multiply row 3 times negative 1 and add it to row 1, and that will give us a new row 1. We are also going to divide row 2 by 5 to make it simple. Once we do that, we get 5, 5, 0, and 25. Divide row 1 and row 3 by 5 to simplify them. Now we're going to multiply row 3 times 2 and add it to row 2, and that will give us a new row 2. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0, plus negative 1 is negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, plus 0 is 0. And 2 times 1 is 2, plus negative 4 is negative 2. Now we're going to add row 1 and row 2 and get a new row 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus negative 1 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. And 5 plus negative 2 is 3. Row 2 and row 3 stay the same. Now we can finally find the values of x, y, and z. The x coefficient is 1, so we can say that x equals 3. The y coefficient is negative 1, so we can say that negative y equals negative 2, which is the same thing as saying that y equals 2. And the z coefficient is negative 1, so we can say that negative z equals 1, which is the same thing as saying that z equals negative 1. So the solution to the system is x equals 3, y equals 2, and z equals negative 1. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions.